Hey guys, welcome back to another episode in the Broken Stupid Map series. I have a lot of fun doing these, but it's a lot more work than the regular video. So let me know in the comments whether you appreciate these, and if you do, I'll expand the series to include some. We'll do the Broken Stupid maps first, but then we'll do the fair and balanced maps and some of the fun maps. But we're starting off with the Broken Stupid maps, where we show games and illustrate different characteristics of the Broken Stupid maps and why they're not balanced and why they're kind of silly. We're looking at Mines today. Mines, the Broken Stupid map. And as you can see, the game is pretty much over because we've spawned in the north. And we've won. Why? Why have we won? Well, let's take a close look at this Broken Stupid map. Now, this map has one dominant feature right in the middle, the hill. The high ground. You see it there in the middle? The high ground? The high ground is very important, and it's in the middle. Wrong! Wait a minute, I've screwed it up already. It's not in the middle. The whole reason that this map is broken and stupid is this. When you spawn in the north, if you want to take the hill, this is the route that you have to go. And you can see that some of my teammates are already headed in this direction. They've spawned near our base, and they just have to follow that green line. And once they get to the end of that green line, they're pretty much safe on top of the hill. Now, what about the south spawn? The south spawn can go take the hill as well, right? What route does the south spawn have to take? Let's have a look. Well, as you can see, the purple line is much longer than the green line, which means that if the northern team is not a collection of utterly clueless Muppets that can't find their W key, the north spawn wins the hill every time. Well, I shouldn't say every time. Sometimes, 1 in 100 times, the south spawning team does get faster tanks, which does make it a little bit of a battle on the hill. But that rarely happens, and the north team, I would say, wins the hill almost every time. And why is that important? Well, because the hill has a lot of different angles in which it can shoot the rest of the map. So the team that wins the hill has a little bit of an advantage. Now, there's a couple of other key locations that the northern spawning team can get to quickly. Moving down the 1-2 line onto the island is one, and then moving east to about C8 is another. That's the route that the northern spawning team has to take to get to these two key locations. What about the south spawning team? Well, their path is a little bit longer, meaning it will take them a little bit longer to get there. So the northern spawning team basically gets the hill in the middle, the island on the west side down the 1-2 line, and then that key position at around C8 for free at the beginning of the game. Unless, of course, the northern team is a complete collage of clueless Muppets. The northern team ends up with these positions pretty much. Key positions on the island, key positions in the middle on the high ground, some snipers at the back. What does the south spawn get? Well, the south spawn can get to these locations here. Mainly sitting around the spawn or at the rocks on the K line. Or they can send some tanks towards the hill, which usually have to stop because the northern spawning team already has the hill. They can hug that cliff at on the 7 line. Or they can try and go west and counter the push that comes down the 1-2 line. And rarely, very, very rarely, can they get to that position where there's a star on the map there at about C8. That is a very powerful position for the southern spawn, only if the northern spawn basically is a team of Muppets that sent nobody there to counter that position, because it's much closer for the northern spawn to get there. That happens a lot, actually. The northern spawn, for some reason, leaves that position open because people want to rush the middle and they want to rush the island because it's a higher reward play. But if the northern team sends even one guy to C8, then the southern spawn basically has nothing. And remember, the key here is the team that takes the hill has a little bit of an advantage. That's the big one. Well, let's go back to the game and see how this one shakes out. And it starts very much like almost every other game on this map. I spawned in the north. I know I have some fast tanks, and they're easily going to get to the hill. Look, the Burrasca is already up on top of the hill. The enemy team is nowhere near. I'm moving down the 1-2 line to this island. And even a Scorpion G, that is fast, cannot escape getting hit. He's lost half his HP already. Look at the minimap now. It's basically exactly what I said. We have control of the hill. We have control of the 1-2 line. We sent some guys. The EBR is already at D9. The south spawn has nothing. There's nothing they can do. They have to hunker down and defend now. We have all the advantageous positions. We've taken control of the 1-2 line. I'm already down there at the tip of the peninsula. We have the hill. We've countered that C8 position. What does the south team have now? Well, we know exactly where they are. There they are. They're right there. Behind the rocks at the back on the K line. There's a Scorpion G that's already lost 50% of his HP trying to get to H1. There's some guys that had to stop on their way to the hill. There's probably some guys hugging the rocks, moving up the 7 line. We know exactly where they are. Once our guys get on the hill, we're going to have a slight advantage. Now, this doesn't mean that the northern spawn wins all the time. I've just talked for the first 6 minutes of this video about how much of an advantage the northern spawn has in the first... How much time has gone by? 1 minute and 15 seconds in this battle. We have pretty much control of everything. This is not an attack-defend mode. This is a random battle mode. But the south spawn is almost always relegated to just hunkering down and sitting there and trying to defend. Now this guy's trying to make a move. He's going to take... All of these guys that have pressed the W key now, anyone in the south spawn who presses the W key and goes anywhere now is taking a risk. They're going to lose some HP because they're all detected. We're in all the advantageous positions. And the game starts like this almost all the time. This guy is a little... let's just say he's a little bit excited. Which brings up the next point. There is the Muppet factor, right? There is the Muppet factor, and the north spawn will not win all the time. You just look at the minimap here, and you'll see that we have an AMX, a heavy tank that's wallowing around in the water at D3. You notice that? We do have... he's decided to take the low ground, because why not? Why wouldn't he do that? So there's always the Muppet factor, right? But look at the minimap. We have 2 GSORs at around D8, C8. They've completely countered the southern spawning team from moving up there. So the one strong position the southern spawning team could have had, our team was smart enough to counter that. Now, the guys on the hill are just going to spot, and any one of those TDs that moves out to try and take a shot, they get lit, and they get shot by people like me, people on the hill. Now, the one thing that the southern spawning team did do correctly, the Scorpion and the T92, they're at K2 and H2, they at least went there. There is a even more aggressive play for the northern spawning team is to move all the way down the 1-2 line to position around K2. That's even more powerful. I wouldn't do that by myself in this particular game, but if the northern spawning team has a platoon of medium tanks, and they all commit and they go down there, that Scorpion and that T92 would already be dead, and they would already be pushing in on the enemy campers at the back. This game would pretty much be over if there was a platoon of medium tanks that pushed all the way down the 1 line. But there isn't, so let's just bounce on a Russian tank, and it's time to switch to number 2. I've pressed 2 so that I'll be a better player, but Wargaming has said, oh, he has pressed 2, he is shooting Russian tank. We activate Cloak of Dispersion. That was a joke. That was a joke because you have to keep your humor. Right? You can't be too serious about this. It is a game. It is a game. I have won games in the northern spot. Oh, look, this poor guy. He pressed W. You call that armor? Now our Kanonenpanzer has... See, there are Muppets, right? Why would he do that? Why would a TD, without a turret, spot for me? Like, so there's always mistakes and blunders that people make. Okay, I'm good. Did you see what I just did there? I moved to that bush and I took a blind shot, and then my 6th sense went off. So I know that that T-44 is in the bushes there probably, and I can't really poke too far to help this teammate without taking damage. I guess we're winning 4-1, so he became brave. Oh, look at this. He's been detected. Poor guy. Ah, this map. I know, I'm going to get comments. All you have to do in the southern spawn is this and this, and if you could take the hill, and you could go there, you could... Do you know what? Maybe I should do another video from the perspective of the southern spawn, because the way to play this map from the southern spawn is basically not to do anything stupid, not to try anything too aggressive. Stay in the cover, mainly on the K line. You'll notice they have a lot of TDs right on the K line, right around the spawn. There's a T-28, there's Kanonen Panzer, there's an Su-101. They have a lot of tanks that are just camping, and as long as they have, you notice they have a couple of guys near the hill that could proxy spot our guys on the hill. And then they just wait and wait for the northern spawning team to make mistakes. The southern spawn is just sit and wait. Now, I'm a little bit worried here because I've got 3 or possibly 4 tanks that could push on me, so I just retreat. And I've got cover. So from the northern spawn, I could push the 1-2 line and get right down there and have a cover of... I have a rock and I have a bush where I was, the location that I just vacated. Very powerful. But now watch what happens when the southern spawn tries to push the 1-2 line. I've retreated now because I was outnumbered, so I just take a position over here where I've got a rock and a bush here around my base. And now when the southern spawn tries to push the island, they're completely exposed. Yeah. Did you have fun? The Buras pressed the W key. Okay, well, I guess I'll go back now. That didn't take long. And let's go back up the 1-2 line. I'm heading back up the 1-2 line. And, oh, there's one of the southern spawn teams. He moved up. He pressed the W key and... Ha! They didn't even have time to blink, which is absolutely true. Oh, but Klaus, look at the score. It's only 8-6. And that's true. It's not a blowout. I'm not saying that it's simply a blowout and the northern team just gets to shoot fish in a barrel. Because the southern spawn does have a lot more cover around the base. There are more rocks where all their TDs are sitting now. You see them all there, the last known positions, all on the K line? They've played this map before and they know... Oh, wait, I was spotted. Let's just take a break here, guys. I was spotted. Now, when something like this happens and you've played the map before, you know exactly what to do. I was detected. Where could I possibly have been detected from? Well, there's only one bush that the southern spawn gets that can detect me from that position. And I know exactly where it is. Do you know where it is? Do you know where it is? I couldn't have been spotted from the hill because the southern spawn never wins the hill, and there are none of them on the hill. It's right there. Right over there. Right? I'll show you. That's the only spot. There. They shouldn't have even tried. That's right. They shouldn't have even tried. They pressed the W key from the southern spawn. That's the only bush he could have possibly been in to counter my move down the 1-2 line. So anyways, what I was saying, it's not always a blowout. It's not always a blowout because the southern spawn does have... I'm pre-aiming here, going to take some blind shots. There's possibly someone right there. They have all this cover at the back. So the reason I call this map broken and stupid is because it's always the same. If you spawn in the south, you just basically sit there at the back. Now I've tried this trick, right? I took a shot. I did not get detected. So I'm pretty sure there's no one there. So now what I should do is move down the 1-2 line. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to back up over here. I'm going to look at my view range circles, that white circle. Maximum detection range, and I'm going to make a run down the 1-2 line, skirting the edge of the map as best I can so that they will not detect me as I do it. Look at my white circle. Look at the last known positions. I'm trying to keep them outside that white circle as much as possible. I'm just going to scoot down the one line here. So it's that it's always the same for the south spawn. It's always a boring sit back there and wait. And usually what happens in the south spawn, if you understand the map and you just sit at the back, If you have smart teammates that don't just YOLO and die trying to take the hill, it becomes a close game. And this one's a pretty close game. But a lot of the times, your teammates just rush out and die, and you're losing 1-7 or 1-8 within about 2 minutes. And then your teammates start berating you. Why are you camping? How come you're back there? You guys should uninstall. Because a lot of players don't know how to play the south spawn. See, there he is. He's hiding in cover. That's the only thing he could do. He's one of the last surviving tanks because he didn't go anywhere. He's playing it properly, but he's frustrated because what's he going to do there now? He's got no one spotting for him. He's just waiting for us to encircle him. They've got one smart player there, the CS, my counterpart, the CS-52 LIS, the Polish tank that's hugging the cliff. He's proxy spotting my teammates up on the hill, so that his teammates that are camping the K line can try and shoot them. But there's cover on the hill as well. He's trying his best there. You see that guy? He's all he can do is just sit there and proxy spot, wait for us to kill him. And now all I have to do is just poke here. And if I get hit, they're going to be lit, and my teammates are going to annihilate them. Okay, I got lit. Let's try and take a shot here. And now the spotting assist starts adding up. And this is pretty much 90% of the games on mines. Now, you don't always win from the northern spawn because sometimes, there's Muppets. You get too aggressive, you drive in the open, you make mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But it's always the same. It's always the same. The southern spawn just sits there at the back and waits to be eventually farmed like this. Poor guy. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like the video and leave some comments on which map you'd like to see next. We'll do all the broken stupid maps first, and then maybe we'll start doing some of the fun maps, and we'll call this whole series the new map tactics. Remember the key point on this map, right? That's why it's called mines, but when you look at the replay, it's called hill, because there's a hill in the middle that has a little bit of an advantage for the team that takes it, which is always the northern team.